As many people would say, good things do come to an end. And unfortunately for KU, their time in Puerto Rico comes to a close on a bit of a sour note. But in this case, at least the game was close. So with that, let's do a review. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Drew, better known as RockChalk01, and today, yesterday, whenever you're watching this, the Kansas Jayhawks played their third and final game in Puerto Rico at the Coliseo Ruben Rodriguez, and they took on the Bahamian national team for the second game in a row. This time the result goes in favor of the Bahamas as KU fell short by a final score of 87-81. Although KU ended up falling in defeat, which I kind of expected to happen in at least one of these games, it was fun to watch these guys actually play a competitive basketball game. Although it doesn't count on the record books, it was still really cool. But to the game itself, there was some good things that came out of this game, but unfortunately a lot of bad things came out of it. So with that being said, for those of you who do not know, I give positives and negatives about the game, give a player of the game, and a player who needs to improve. Without further ado, let's do it. So the first positive I got, and a lot of people might not consider it a positive, but I do, as KU improved their free throw percentage numbers from a game ago. After shooting roughly 53% in the last game, KU improved by shooting 61% from the charity stripe. Now, this would have been a negative if it wasn't for the fourth quarter, as KU did shoot out of its mind from the free throw line, only missing one, as they went and shot 89% from the free throw line. But the free throw percentages did improve, and I hope it continues to improve as we inch ever so closely to the beginning of the 2023-2024 college basketball season. Doing better at the free throw line is a positive. Let's see, rebounding is also a positive, which kind of surprises me after KU failed to win the rebounding battle in the first two games. KU won the rebounding battle in the third one, winning the battle 40-34. Now, this was thanks in large part to an offensive rebounding clinic, if you want to put it that way, as KU won the offensive side of the glass 12-7. It was basically even when it came to defensive rebounds, but when it came to the offensive glass, KU won by 5. It's a good thing to see KU actually rebounding the ball. I mean, we're pretty good at controlling the glass, especially when it came to the defensive side, but it's actually kind of cool to see them do well controlling the offensive glass as well. So, a two-headed monster, if you want to put it on the rebounding side of things. But finally winning the rebounding battle, it has to be a positive. Another positive, fouls. KU did well enough to win the foul battle and win it by a good margin. KU only had 12 personal fouls in this game, while the Bahamas had 17 personal fouls. After having roughly 20 plus fouls in the first two games, KU finally did well controlling and maintaining themselves not to foul. Yes, they had to intentional foul a couple times late in the fourth quarter, but I mean, what can you say? At least KU did their job to limit their foul numbers and make sure the Bahamas really didn't get to go to the free throw line as often as a lot of people would have expected. So yeah, winning the foul battle, that's also a positive. And the final positive is a nitpick positive, as KU won the points in the paint battle 40-30. Now I got a little bit of an insight on this one, as Bill Self is more a paint coach, where you see more of his points come from the paint, whereas the Bahamian national team's head coach is an assistant under Steve Kerr for the Golden State Warriors, which means they're going to shoot a lot more threes, and that's what they did. So this was expected to happen, and yeah, winning the points in the paint battle is an absolute positive in my mind. And with all that said, those are my positives. Now we head over to the negatives, and the first negative that I've got is kind of a combination, as KU really didn't do well defensively when forcing bad shots, and unfortunately the offensive side of the ball didn't help them either. For the Bahamas' sake, they actually shot the ball a lot better, shooting 45% from the field, 31% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. And for KU's sake, this is the first time they shot sub 45 in Puerto Rico, as KU shot 44% from the field and 27% from 3. Now, the numbers would have been a lot better if it wasn't for the fourth quarter, because KU actually did well through the first 3, shooting roughly 50%-ish from the field, along with shooting roughly 40% from 3. But if it wasn't for the fourth quarter, the numbers would have been so much better. The fourth quarter really killed it, as KU shot 29% from the field and was over from the three-point line, going over 6. So we got to be better consistently shooting the ball, but also forcing the Bahamas to take some bad shots. So yeah, defensively allowing good shots to be taken and not shooting the ball well ourselves, that is a negative. Turnovers is another negative, as KU unfortunately lost the turnover battle. The Bahamas forced 16 Jayhawk turnovers and scored 26, while KU forced 14 Bahamas turnovers and only scored 16. Now, the main staple of this tournament was that KU was forcing a lot of turnovers and scoring off of it. That did not seem to happen in this game, and it really took away and made this a negative, because if KU would have kind of maintained the 16 turnovers, which is still kind of high, but they would have forced like 20 turnovers, there's a good chance this would have been a positive, but unfortunately, that did not seem to be the case. So we got to do better trying to force turnovers and score off of them. So yeah, losing the turnover battle, also a negative. And the final negatives are nitpick negatives, as the last few of them KU lost. We begin with second chance points. KU barely lost that one, 13-12. Fast break points, KU also lost that one, 23-17. And KU got absolutely creamed in the bench point scoring. KU lost that one, 38-13. Although these can be improved as the time goes on, but man, there was a lot more negatives than positives in this game. So unfortunately, with all that said, those were all my negatives. Player of the game. Now, I'm going to give 2 honorable mentions, and I'm actually going to say their stat lines back to back because they were kind of similar. That would be Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough. Both scored in double figures, played well, grabbing rebounds. One was near a double-double, and the other was nearing a triple-double, but unfortunately, their shooting numbers didn't help them. Let's first start with Hunter Dickinson. He was the lesser-known scorer in this game, but he still had an incredible one. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 29 minutes. But his cold shooting night went as follows: 6 of 14 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Then we go to Kevin McCullough, another honorable mention with another cold shooting night. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals in 34 minutes, but his shooting line, 7 of 16 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and 4 for 7 from the free throw line. Yeah, if it wasn't for those guys having cold shooting nights, there was a good chance that we might have had co-players of the game. But unfortunately, that's not the case. However, they do get honorable mentions. Now, this does lead me to my player of the game, and that is going to be Dajuan Harris. Because, well, he kind of played a really good game and was KU's leading scorer. Wando finished with 23 points. That's right, I said points. 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 steals in 35 minutes. And had an incredible shooting night, going 10 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc, and 0 for 1 from the free throw line. Besides the free throw, this might have been Dajuan Harris's best shooting game as a Jayhawk, because I don't remember the last time Dajuan Harris scored 20 plus points, let alone 23. But wow, incredible performance from Dajuan Harris, and also forcing turnovers was his forte as well, as he got himself 5 steals. So yeah, this was a no-brainer for me. Dajuan Harris is my player of the game. Now to the player who needs to improve, and in my eyes it's kind of easy, but there's a few guys that might have a case because they didn't score. Those guys being Parker Brown, Jamari McDowell, and probably could have been it being Zach Clements. But in my eyes, the player who needs to improve is KJ Adams. Now you might be wondering why KJ gets it is because, well, compared to his first 2 games after he played out of his mind, he had a big drop off. KJ finished with 3.6 rebounds and 2 blocks in 33 minutes, shooting 1 of 2 from the field and 1 of 2 from the foul line. I don't know if the Bahamian national team had film on KJ, but they did well to make sure that he wasn't going to score. Not only that, make sure that he wasn't even going to get any assists, because that was basically helping KJ become a stud in the first 2 games, was his scoring and also getting assists as well. But yeah, he was non-existent in this one, and it worries me because I feel like he's going to be streaky at some points in the season coming up, and I don't want that to be the case, because knowing KJ the last season, he was kind of streaky at points, but he was still pretty consistent. I mean, he would score 15, 17, a couple nights here and there, and then there'd be one where he scores no more than 5 in the next 3. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't end up being the case, but since he was non-existent for like over 30 plus minutes, this was pretty obvious. So with that being said, KJ Adams is my player who needs to improve. And with all that said, that's going to do it for my review of KU versus the Bahamian national team. Again, the final score, the Bahamas 87, Kansas 81. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and push that notification bell. Also tell your friends about these videos. And yeah, the reviews will be halted for just a few more weeks, but we will get the reviews back once again in early September for Kansas football, as they begin their quest to try and repeat going to a bowl game for the 2nd year in a row, as they have their season opener against the Missouri State Bears. But be on the lookout for that. Until then, have a good day, never bring exotic dancers to the field house, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.